In my opinion, this is the toughest paper. So many questions, lengthy questions, and the first 10 questions, you will get the shock of your life. They are so lengthy and not the regular pattern. Besides these 10 questions, another 5 questions, they may trouble you. Overall, in my opinion, this is a very tough paper, and you got to spend a lot of time reading the different questions. And not only the questions, you have to spend a lot of time reading the options. And this paper, in my opinion, if you can answer 50% also, that is good enough, because a lot of time goes into reading. Now let us start the session with the first 10 questions. What do they deal with? 51 to 60. First, I'll read the instructions. Instructions are very important today's paper. In each of the following questions, a short passage is given with one of the lines in the passage missing and represented by a blank. You can see the blank here. Pick out the option which, when used to start a sentence, combines both the above sentences in one. Select the best out of the 5 answer choices given to make the passage complete and coherent. Coherent means, that's an important word, it goes with writing. When it comes to writing, we use the word coherence. Coherence means smooth and logical flow of sentences. The sentences should flow in a smooth manner, in a logical manner. And how do the writers achieve that? With the help of 2 things. One is with the help of link words. The other one, line of thought. The line of thought is very important. Now, these questions, the 10 questions, basically they go with CAT model. I always tell students, of late, banks have been going in the direction of CAT model. What do the letters stand for? Common Admission Test for IIMs. And CAT English is on the, it's a bit difficult, on the higher side. Standards are very high compared to bank exams. So this CAT model, the 10 questions, they go with CAT model. And what are these about? You see a paragraph or a mini passage, then one sentence is missing, then you see the 5 options. You have to select the correct option. Now, how to handle these questions? Before I answer that question, first you have to know how to read and how to understand. When you come across questions like these are basically related to paragraphs. There are 3 models here. One is CAT model, paragraph related, new to bank aspirants. They give a paragraph or a mini passage, and either they remove the first sentence, one model, then you have to select the first sentence from the options. Second, they may remove in the middle, then you have to select one option, or they may remove the last sentence from the paragraph, you have to select one option. And there's one more option, one more model, the 4th model. They give one sentence in the paragraph which is not the part of the context, odd sentence. These are the 4 models you have. And this one goes with, you have to select the first sentence. How to handle these questions? Today I may spend a lot of time on explaining how to answer these questions. Please listen very carefully. What is the reason? These questions generally in the exam, imagine you start looking at the questions. The first 10 questions talk about paragraph related. You have to read the passage or the paragraph, select one of the options, and 10 questions like that. You get intimidated. Intimidated means what? You get frightened. You panic. You get scared. But do remember, they are not that difficult. First, you have to read, understand the context. Then you have to look for the options. Look at the options. How to handle these? First and foremost, you should read the paragraph or the mini passage with a focused mind and ask the question, what is this about? What does it talk about? This mini passage or the paragraph. Based on that, you have to look at the option and select the correct option. 2 dimensions here. One is, many of these options are not grammatically correct. If you see an option which is not grammatically correct, eliminate that one, reject that one. The second, which option goes with the context. When you read this paragraph, you should know what it is about, what is the context, what is it about, you ask the question, and which option is related to that particular context, that is the answer. So let us start, I will read the first one. Our society is still deeply mired. Mire actually means to get stuck in mud, M-U-D, mud. Someone gets stuck in mud, we use the word mire. In this context, it means to get stuck in caste and religious prejudices. Our society is still deeply mired in propagate means spreading, caste and religious prejudices. Prejudice is an important word. Wherever there is an important word, I'll tell the meaning. I may not be able to write because today takes a lot of time. There's so much to read. I may not get 60 minutes, not enough for this paper. Our society is still deeply mired, means stuck in propagating, spreading caste and religious prejudices, biases, prejudice, bias. Rather than take up the issue in isolation, we need to strike at the root cause, caste prejudice. This talks about a particular practice, perhaps. You have to understand. It starts, don't look at the options. First you read this and try to get an idea what it is about. Our society is still deeply mired in propagating caste and religious prejudices. Rather than take up the issue in isolation, we should not take it in isolation. We need to strike at the root cause. What is the root cause? Root cause means a basic problem, caste prejudice. I wonder how this marginalized community, that means we are talking about a particular caste, a particular community. I wonder how this marginalized community will be able to attain some kind of social mobility, even with reservation, when there is a growing anti-reservation sentiment. We cannot improve their status with reservation also. What is the reason? There is a growing anti-reservation sentiment. We need to do something for them which is sustainable and helps them in achieving a social status on their own. When you read this, what do you understand? It talks about a particular community. It talks about prejudice against them, caste prejudice, and we have to do something. With reservation also we cannot do because there is a growing anti-reservation sentiment, and we need something which is sustainable, which lasts for a long time and help them achieving a social status on their own. Now you have to look at the options and ask the question. Two dimensions, please listen very carefully. Dimension one, many of these options, what I have noticed, they're not grammatically correct. If the option is not grammatically correct, reject that one. Because there is no support by society to eliminate the most inhuman of professions, manual scavenging still persists, which is the basic reason. Manual scavenging. Actually, this context is all about manual scavenging. When you read the options, you understand that. Now, let us eliminate based on grammar knowledge and based on contextual awareness. Manual scavenging. Here, the subject is third person singular and the sentence is in present tense. Then we cannot say persist. Manual scavenging still persists. It should be persists, which is the basic reason. Again, it is not complete. But whether it is complete or incomplete, it doesn't matter. Here you don't see. Manual scavenging still persists. It is not grammatically correct, and reject this one. Because there is despicable practice, something disgusting, not acceptable. Because there is despicable practice of manual scavenging which still persists in India. Again, persist. One more reason, we cannot start with because based on the context. Reject this also. Still persists in India. The basic reason why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists, here the word is in the correct form, in India is because there is negligible or no support by society to eliminate this most inhuman of professions. Hold this one. No support by society to eliminate this most inhuman of professions. Manual scavenging still persists. Again, persists, not correct. Eliminate this one. Why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists in India is negligible and no support by society. It is not grammatically correct. Why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists in India is negligible. That doesn't make any sense. So what is the answer here? The basic reason why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists in India is because there is negligible or no support by society to eliminate the most inhuman of professions. And our society, why? Our society is still deeply mired in propagating caste and religious prejudices. Rather than take up the issue in isolation, we need to strike at the root cause, caste prejudice. Answer is obviously the third option. Answer is the third option. But the problem here, you got to be very good at English grammar and everything should be at your fingertips. When you go to the options, when you read the first option, scavenging still persists, you have to become alert. You know for sure, you should know for sure. Grammatically it is not correct, so reject. And how many options with persist? First one is not correct, second one is not correct, and third, fourth one is not correct. Here persists, it is there. That means you have to decide between the third and the fifth. But the fifth one, why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists in India is negligible. That doesn't make any sense. So what is the answer? You should be damn sure. The answer is the third option. It is crystal clear. The basic reason why the despicable practice of manual scavenging still persists in India is because there is negligible or no support by society to eliminate this most inhuman of professions. What is this manual scavenging? Then you may wonder, you should know the meaning of the word scavenging. The word scavenger has two different meanings. One, it goes with the animal world. If you take crows, birds, among birds, crows. If you take among animals, hyenas, these are scavengers. And among birds, again, if you take vultures, vultures are scavengers. Scavenging means scavengers, they eat the dead bodies, the flesh of the dead bodies. Crows, they depend on the dead bodies. And vultures, they depend on the dead bodies. Hyenas, they depend on the dead bodies. These are scavengers. If you take the food pyramid, you have this, and you have the herbivores, carnivores, and in between you have the least, you have the scavengers. Scavengers, they are at the bottom rung. They clean. But in this context, it goes with human beings. And who are these scavengers in this context? In the past, today also in states like Rajasthan and Gujarat, this practice is there, though officially it has been banned. In the past, we had this profession. What is this profession? Night soil. There is one expression you have to learn, night soil. Night soil means human waste. Every morning, in the past, every morning, someone would come and remove the human waste, night soil, from the toilet. Not the modern toilet, olden days, traditional toilet. And it would be there all the time. These people would come with a bucket and a broomstick. They would clean that night soil, human waste. And that is the most inhuman profession, beyond any doubt. Most inhuman of professions. Imagine one person cleaning the night soil of another person or a group of people. Very unfortunate. And there's a stigma against these people. Other communities don't accept these, and they will not talk to them also because they are totally, there's a stigma on them, there's a stigma on the profession. If you have that awareness and based on grammar knowledge, obviously, the answer is the third option. I will read question number 52. What is the answer? More than half of the area under cultivation, A is missing. More than half of the area under cultivation does not have access to irrigation. Agriculture income generated at average size of land holding is not adequate to meet farmers' needs. Modern agriculture requires investment in farm machinery and use of purchased inputs like seed, fertilizer, agri-chemicals, diesel, and hired labor. Most often, savings generated from unremunerative crop enterprise are inadequate for such investments. Rising expenses on health, education, social ceremonies, and non-food items put additional financial demand on farm families. Now, what is this about? This is about agriculture. This is about land holding. This is about the expenses met by the farmers. They have to meet certain expenses regularly. And some of these expenses go with cultivation, like fertilizers, agri-chemicals, machinery, farm machinery, diesel, hired labor, and some go with personal or some go with lifestyle. And what goes with lifestyle? Health, education, social ceremonies, and non-food items. So it talks about farmers, farming community, agriculture. What could be the first sentence? Indian agriculture, low scale and low productivity. Now here, this you can, at the outset, you can reject. What is the reason? The verb is missing. Indian agriculture is known for low scale and low productivity, but there is no verb. Indian agriculture, low scale and low productivity. When there is no verb, it is not acceptable. Reject the first option. Indian agriculture is known by, usually we say known by low scale and productivity. Operational land holding in country below 5 acre and 67% farm households survive average. That doesn't make any sense at all. But not only that, here, Indian agriculture is known for, by is not correct. The place is known for, the profession is known for. What is the typical combination? Known for something, known for someone. So reject this also. As I said, Please remember, mains, usually what happens, yesterday also I said the same thing. Mains completely based on comprehension skill and vocabulary, and the third element, how fast you can read. But do remember, when you see something like this is rather intimidating. But when you come across lengthy sentences, lengthy options, do remember, they are not that difficult. They appear to be difficult, they are not difficult. All that you have to do, read meticulously with a focused mind, then quickly you can eliminate. About 85% of the operational land holding is below 5 acres, and 67% households Indians survive on average land holding on 1 acre. This seems okay, hold this one. About 85% of the operational land holding in country are below 5 acre, and 67% average land holding on 1 acre. Again, something is missing here, still hold this one. You have to have a clear option, clear sentence. Look at the fifth option. Indian agriculture is characterized by, there is a verb here. It talks about Indian agriculture, and this sentence talks about the features of Indian agriculture. Indian agriculture is characterized by low scale and low productivity. Grammatically correct, contextually correct. And substantiating the same statement, what is it? Low scale, low productivity. About 85% of the operational land holdings is in the country are below 5 acres, low scale. And 67% farm households survive on an average land holding of 1 acre. Again goes with the same thing, low productivity and low scale. Here the sentence is crystal clear, grammatically correct. Based on that, the answer is the fifth option. It goes with agriculture. And continuity of thought, more than half of the area under cultivation does not have access to irrigation. It starts with the features of Indian agriculture, and the same line of thought, it talks about the problems associated with irrigation, agriculture, and the farming community. Answer is the fifth option. The next one, 53. However, here it starts with a contrasting word. With the declaration of peace, there was a need to do something about the installed capacity. And so in 1946, Tupperware company came into being. You all must be knowing there's one company that produces plastic products, especially airtight containers, airtight plastic containers. They're used as lunch boxes, they're used to carry the food stuff. And the material is very good, very strong, durable, and they're known for airtight food containers. The name of the company is Tupperware, popular, internationally popular company. However, with the declaration of peace, there was a need to do something about the installed capacity. And so, in 1946, Tupperware company came into being. At present, the use of plastic has become so ubiquitous, an important word. Ubiquitous means present everywhere. Today, if you take plastic, plastic is seen everywhere. Unfortunately, today, plastic has become a menace, a threat to the environment. At present, the use of plastic has become so ubiquitous that even birds, animals, and fish have unwittingly made it part of their diet. Today, if you go to the marine world, marine pollution, one of the problems, so much plastic in the oceans, and because of that, fish and the marine life, marine fauna, they're eating the plastic and they're getting badly affected. Disposed plastic degrades slowly. One of the reasons plastic does not degrade immediately, it takes a lot of time, hundreds of years perhaps. Disposed plastic degrades slowly, its chemicals getting leached into surroundings. Two problems here. Degradation is a problem, takes a lot of time, and chemicals getting leached into surroundings, spread into surroundings. Further, it breaks down into smaller components over time, entering our food chain and landing up on our plates. It talks about the negative aspects of plastic and how the plastic, the Tupperware company came into existence or came into being. And after that, it talks about the negative dimensions related or that go with plastic. So further, it breaks down into smaller components over time. And these smaller components, they enter our food chain and they land up on our plates. Now the context is very clear. The second paragraph talks about the negative dimensions that go with plastic, but the very first sentence, however, with the declaration of peace, there was peace. That means when do you talk about peace? When we talk about war, we talk about war and peace. So you should visualize, you should guess, perhaps this talks about war. There was a need to do something about the installed capacity. Now let us have a look at the options. The first synthetic plastic was called bakelite and was derived from fossil fuels. Large-scale production during Second World War was directed for war effort. Hold this one. The next one. Plastics, here you cannot, the first synthetic plastic was called bakelite. It starts with the first synthetic plastic was called bakelite and was derived from fossil fuels. There are two dimensions, one naming dimension, the other one the source dimension derived from fossil fuels. Let us see the second option. Plastics. This is all about plastics. How can you say that? The second paragraph talks about plastics. So based on that, you should tell yourself, plastics had their origin in cellulose derivatives. The first synthetic plastic was called bakelite. See, the first option, it talked about this one, it talked about this one, but it did not talk about this one. This is more systematic, and it starts with a particular aspect. Plastics, the key concept, the key word in this context. Plastics had their origin in cellulose derivatives. The first synthetic plastic was called bakelite and was derived from fossil fuels. Yes. During the Second World War, large-scale production of plastic was directed towards the war effort. It talks about plastic, origin and name, and also from which source it has been derived, 3 dimensions, and why it has come into existence. During the Second World War, large-scale production of plastic was directed towards the war effort. However, with the declaration of peace, there was a need to do something about the installed capacity. So plastic came into existence because of war, and it was directed towards the war. When the war ended, then the installed capacity, they had to do something. What did they do? They produced this plastic stuff, and the company named Tupperware came into existence. Between the first option and the second option is crystal clear. It touches all the dimensions, origin, the name, and also bakelite, then derived from fossil fuels. This seems correct, and why it has come into existence. Now let us go to the third option. Plastic originates from derivatives. But what derivatives? Not clear. Bakelite was derived from fossil fuels. Large-scale production of plastic was directed towards war effort. This is not crystal clear. First one also not complete, incomplete. More information in the second option. During the Second World War, the large-scale production of plastic was for war effort. The first plastic bakelite. The first plastic bakelite, not grammatically correct. During the World War, not during bakelite, was called first synthetic plastic. It doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. During bakelite was called first synthetic plastic. Outright rejection. Now what is crystal clear? Plastics had their origin in cellulose derivatives. The first synthetic plastic was called bakelite and was derived from fossil fuels. During the Second World War, large-scale production of plastic was directed towards the war effort. However, with the declaration of peace, there was a need to do something about the installed capacity. And so, in 1946, Tupperware company came into being. After that, the negative dimensions of plastics. These are not that easy under pressure, but do remember, when do they become easy? The bottom line, the most important question, you're competing with lakhs of candidates across the country, and it's a competitive exam. You should always have the competitive edge. These are difficult for everyone. Almost every candidate will say, the first 10 questions are really tough. I got panicked, I got scared, I find these intimidating. But the question, how to have the competitive edge and how to answer all these questions. What is the source? What is the key? First, you have to think of that. Every problem has a solution. When you come across lengthy sentences, obviously you come across lengthy sentences when it comes to SBI Clerk Mains or SBI PO Mains. The standards are very high. And the bottom line here, reading comprehension skill and vocabulary. Then you should ask the question, how to become good at these two things. Extensive reading. Now, I say this repeatedly, and people may think, students may think, why does he talk so many times about reading extensively, reading the Hindu paper? This is the reason. There are two situations here. Please listen very carefully. The first situation, if you don't read a lot, Many of these questions you cannot handle. All the 10, you may not attempt also. Many candidates will not attempt. They will just ignore these questions. But not attempting is not the solution. You have to attempt and you have to get maximum marks. For that you got to read a lot. Now we'll go to the next one, 54. The concept. This talks about the concept. Credited, no hyphen here. The concept credited to British economist John Maynard Keynes has been heavily criticized for its assumption that people are naive. There is an important word, naive. Naive means a beginner, an ignorant person, a person who does not know anything, an innocent person. Beginner, one meaning, innocent person, another meaning. A person who doesn't know anything, rather innocent person, naive. The theory of rational expectations, which among other things states that people learn from experience and can reset their earlier beliefs, was a response to the idea of money illusion. Now the context talks about economy and the perception of the public when it comes to money. This is what it talks about. Not a lengthy one, a short paragraph. The people care about the people. We don't say the people. We say people. The people means specific. The people care about the nominal value money rather than its real value. So don't consider the first option. Go to the second one. The notion. Notion means idea. That's an important word. The notion that, here it talks about the concept. So obviously, the concept credited to has been heavily criticized. The first sentence should talk about the concept. What is a concept? First option, eliminate. What is the reason? The people care. Not correct. We are talking about people generally. The notion that people care about drop by more than half during the same period. Care about drop by more than half during the same period. That doesn't make any sense because in the first sentence, the word drop does not convey any meaning. Based on that, reject the second option. The notion that people care more about the nominal value would be impressed if their wages double than its real value. Real value, here people would be impressed, not the notion. The notion that people care more about the nominal value would be impressed if their wages double than its real value. This is not grammatically correct, so don't consider this one. The notion that people care more about the nominal value of money rather than its real value. This seems crystal clear. The notion that people care more about the nominal value of money rather than its real value, according to this idea, workers, for instance, would be impressed if their wages double in a year, even if the real value of their money were to drop by more than half during the same period. Wages double in a year, but the real value drop by more than half. Still people are impressed. This is a notion. The notion, what is that notion? People care more about the nominal value of money rather than its real value. This seems complete. The notion were to drop by, not grammatically correct, not clear in meaning. What is the answer based on that? Fourth option. It talks about a notion. What is that notion? The notion is that, one word is missing here. The notion is that people care more about the nominal value of money rather than its real value. To substantiate, according to this idea, workers, for instance, would be impressed if their wages double in a year, even if the real value of their money were to drop by more than half during the same period. Crystal clear. Answer is the fourth option. The next one. Down the ages, man has tried to discover life's meaning. Of all the 10 questions, in my opinion, this is the toughest. I will read the paragraph first. Down the ages, man has tried to discover life's meaning, the purpose of living, whether there is a God or release from suffering, and to attain to some spiritual state where all the questions are understood by some experience, a transcendent mystical union with the ultimate. Down the ages, man has tried to do something, tried to discover life's meaning in a nutshell, and a transcendent mystical union with the ultimate. Here, ultimate means the God. Not easy to understand. This is purely philosophical, spiritual. But based on grammar knowledge, let us see if one option seems correct, grammatically speaking. Trying to be something that you are not is not possible. As such, there is no problem here, grammatically speaking. The very want is no different than any other want that we might have. The very want is no different than any other want. It is not possible. It is not possible, and this one, they're not related. Trying to be something that you're not is possible, but it talks about not possible. Is not possible. The very want is not different. Again, not clear, grammatically speaking, contextually speaking. We might have something that we are not, is not possible. Again, it is not grammatically correct and no meaning as such. We might have something that we are not, is not possible. Doesn't make any sense as such. No different than any other want that they might have. This cannot be the first sentence. Always remember, all these questions deal with the first sentence. The first sentence should talk about what the paragraph is about, one thing, whether it is crystal clear or not, second thing, whether grammatically it is correct or not, the third thing. Based on that, the very want, the first option, what is it? Answer first option. Trying to be something you are not, that you are not, is not possible. The very want is no different than any other want that we might have. Down the ages, trying to be something that you are not is not possible. So to substantiate that statement, down the ages, man has tried to discover life's meaning. And do remember, answer is the first option here. The next one, 56. Do remember, out of 10 questions, quick reading, you should understand, you should have the ability, which one to touch, which one not to touch. When you come across a sentence like this, you should avoid a sentence like this, in my opinion. You may ask, sir, why should we avoid? It doesn't go with youngsters, one thing. It goes with philosophy. It goes with spirituality. Not easy to understand and not easy to comprehend. And out of 10, you don't have to answer all the 10. Answer easy ones to save your time and have the competitive edge. 56. However, it is not the case with e-commerce issues. In fact, e-commerce is misnomer, means not the right word. What is under discussion is placing great limitations on digital policy making by any country in the name of promoting e-commerce. Few understand the real nature of the digital issues involved and the relevant policy requirements of the present and the future. In these circumstances, blank check could possibly be made out to be global digital corporations and the countries backing them. So many times the expression e-commerce has been used. Now let us see. And it starts with a contrasting word. However, it is not the case with, it is not the same thing with e-commerce issues. What is not the same with e-commerce issues? How e-commerce is different? Negotiate about their implications of many contentious issues. Now, when you read this, negotiate about their implications, this is the first sentence. Their implications are many contentious issues. Doesn't make any sense at all. The first sentence cannot be vague, it should be crystal clear. Now we'll go to the next one. Issues involved in the negotiators for the proposed regional comprehensive economic partnership. Negotiate. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Many contentious issues involved in negotiators for the proposed regional comprehensive economic partnership, like implications. Like implications, again, this is not correct. And here the previous one, negotiate, not correct. While there are many contentious issues involved in the negotiators for the proposed regional comprehensive economic partnership, RCEP, countries at least know what they are negotiating about and their likely implications. This seems crystal clear, except the word negotiators. While there are many contentious issues involved in the negotiators for the proposed RCEP, countries at least know what they are negotiating about and their likely implications. In the case of RCEP, countries at least know what they are negotiating about and their likely implications. However, contrasting, it is not the case with e-commerce issues. It is not the case with e-commerce issues. Continuity of thought. So what is the answer here? The fourth option is the answer. Let us see the fifth one also. Countries at least know what negotiate. What negotiate? Not grammatically correct. Reject. What negotiate about implications. The moment you feel it is not grammatically correct, reject that one. Now 57. No doubt there is still a lot of software code to be written and IT to be pulled together, and India retains some key advantages in core IT areas. But the issues of e-commerce or digital trade are much larger. We face a very new reality today as we stand on the threshold of a digital society, where every major economic and social activity will be underpinned by digital intelligence. This talks about IT, India's Indian context, and the strengths and the weaknesses. India is still stuck in the IT realities of yesterday. It remains in denial about the major transformations in the sector that are taking place, along with unprecedented job losses. This is grammatically clear, contextually also clear. We'll check other options. IT realities of yesterday, major transformations in the sector that are taking place. No meaning as such. Remember, first sentence should be crystal clear, contextually, grammatically. It remains in denial about, it remains, what remains? Again, it remains in denial about the major transformations, unprecedented job losses. India is still stuck in the IT reality of yesterday. They don't go with each other. India stuck in the IT reality of yesterday. Denial about the major transform the sector. Taking place along with unprecedented job losses, India is still stuck in the IT reality of yesterday. Taking place along with unprecedented job losses. This is not correct. So what is the answer here? The sentence should be grammatically correct and crystal clear. India is still stuck. India is still stuck in the IT realities of yesterday. What are those IT realities of yesterday? It remains in denial about the major transformations in the sector that are taking place along with the unprecedented job losses. No doubt there's still a lot of software code to be written and IT to be pulled together, and India retains some key advantages in core IT areas. Though major transformations are taking place, India still has certain advantages. It talks about that. What is the answer? 57. First option is the answer. We'll go to the next one. It's already 41 minutes. May have triggered the current standoff with India in the Sikkim section of the China-India border, says a widely circulated Chinese internet log. To save time, the answer is the first option. China's decision to complete the construction of a road to Watchtower in Doklam area, which it had built in 2014, may have triggered the current standoff with India. So this seems correct. In Doklam area, China decides to complete, not correct. In 2014, China decided. Construction of a road to a watchtower in Doklam area triggered current standoff. Triggered, again you cannot say may have triggered, not correct. China's decision to complete the construction in Doklam area, not built in 2014. Built in 2014, grammatically not correct. So what is the answer? The first option is the answer. As fashion designers have discovered today, discomfiture means unpleasantness. The very slightest slight to the emblem invites the unwelcome attentions of the police. Even variations in the dimensions of the flag are, I don't know what exactly the word. The context is about Indian flag. So what is the context? Indian flag, how to handle the flag. The answer is the fifth option. India is mightily uptight about the tricolor. Wrapping yourself in the flag is an offense. Wrapping yourself in the flag. Wrapping generally goes with products. In this context, wrap your body with something. So wrapping yourself in the flag is an offense, as fashion designers have discovered to their discomfiture. So these two go line of thought, continuity of thought, and it is about the offense related or associated with the flag. Answer is the fifth option. The next one, 60, not 63. The first time this has happened in over a decade. While this marks a reversal of the trend till 2 years back, when states were more fiscally prudent than the central government, it is worrying that the run rate is likely to continue and possibly worsen, triggered by a combination of revenue and expenditure side issues. Perhaps this talks about states. What is the answer? With the GDP ratio breached 3%, combining fiscal position of states deteriorated. GDP ratio breaching the 3% threshold in 2015-16, last couple of years. Again, doesn't make any sense. The combined fiscal position of states has deteriorated sharply over the last couple of years. See how the sentence goes. The combined fiscal position of states has deteriorated sharply over the last couple of years, with the GDP ratio, deficit GDP ratio, breaching the 3% threshold in 2015-16. Answer is the third option. The option should be grammatically correct. With the GDP ratio breached the 3% sharply over, that is not correct. You should know why you have to eliminate. Breaching the 3% threshold in 15-16, combined fiscal position of states has deteriorated sharply. No. Look at the third option. The combined fiscal position of states has deteriorated. Position of states has deteriorated sharply over the last couple of years, with the gross fiscal deficit, GDP ratio, breaching the 3% threshold in 2015-16. After that, it goes with the first time this has happened in over a decade. Now that's it about, it has taken almost 45 minutes, 10 questions. The reason for spending this much time, these are not easy, one thing, and a new pattern. You should know how to handle these, and definitely you may get similar questions in when it comes to SBI Clerk Mains or SBI PO Mains. So you should be prepared. That is the reason why I have spent so much time. Now, regular patterns, I don't have to spend so much time. The next 5 questions are rather easy. Let us do quickly. Politicians alone can survive in politics where rules the roost. This is an important expression. Now I'll do a little fast. Already we have lost 45 minutes. Contextual awareness. This is about politicians. What are the typical image of politicians? Clever politicians alone can survive in politics where practical rules the roost. Eliminate based on the word practical. It is not the right word. First word you can consider. Wily. Wily means cunning, smart, shrewd. Politicians can alone survive in politics where treacherous rules the roost. Hold this one. The next one. Wily. Politicians alone can survive in politics where treachery rules the roost. Here, treacherous is the adjective. We have to use a noun form. The word is correct, the form is not correct. So, treachery rules the roost. Wily. Answer is the third option. We'll check other options also. Ideal politicians alone can survive in politics where prestigious rules. No, not correct. Clever politicians, again, where a rudeness would have been better. Rude is not correct. What is the answer based on that? The word should be contextually correct, grammatically correct. They go with the context. They should go with the context. They should be the lexical terms. Wily politicians, a typical combination. Smart politicians, shrewd politicians, cunning politicians, canny politicians, typical expressions. And treachery. Treachery means a backstabbing. We also use the word betray. What is it? Betray. Treachery means what? Betray, backstabbing. Answer is the third option. I am not about your success because your approach to study is disappointing. What is the context here? Negative context. First, when you read fillers or anything related to comprehension, read carefully, ask yourself, does it talk about something positive or does it talk about something negative? Here the context is completely negative, disappointing. Then despair. Despair means loss of hope, no hope as such. Irresolute. Resolute, firm. You take a firm decision, then resolution, resolute. Irresolute, opposite. I am not despaired about your success. That is not the right word. Your irresolute approach. It is not again relevant here. I am not hopeful about your success because your regular approach. Hopeful is correct, but regular is not correct. I'm not happy about your success because your reckless approach. This seems okay, hold this one. What is the fourth option? I'm not optimistic about your success. Optimistic means positive. Why? Because your perfunctory approach to study is disappointing. Perfunctory means superficial, quick, hasty, not serious. This also seems right, hold this one. I'm not satisfied about your success because your demanding approach, the word is not correct. See, what I'm trying to tell you, when you come across questions related to pillars, take elimination approach, obviously. But of the two words, one word could be right, the other word could be wrong. Based on the wrong word, you reject the pair. Here you cannot use I am not despaired. And the context talks about negative. I am not hopeful, I am not optimistic, I am not happy. You cannot use a negative word. So this is not correct, and irresolute is also not correct. But here second one, regular, is not correct. Reckless, generally we don't say. And the context, reckless approach, perhaps, which is a better word. I am not happy, I am not optimistic. Optimistic is a better word. And your reckless approach, your perfunctory approach, which is a better expression. Not reckless, it is perfunctory. Based on that, what is the answer? The fourth option is the answer. Due to rainfall this year, there will be cut in water supply. Due to enough rainfall this year, there will be substantial cut. Enough rainfall, there should not be any cut, so not correct. Due to enough rainfall, perhaps enough is correct. Substantial cut is not correct. Meager, due to meager rainfall this year, there will be a least cut. No, meager means a little. Then it should be more, not least. Due to sufficient rainfall this year, there will be no power cut in water supply. No cut in water supply. Due to sufficient rainfall this year, there will be no cut in water supply. This seems right, hold this one. Due to surplus rainfall this year, there will be abundant cut, again not correct. Due to scarce rainfall, shortage of rainfall this year, there will be many cut, not grammatically correct. So what is the answer? Due to sufficient rainfall this year, there will be no cut in water supply. Sufficient rainfall, no cut in water supply. Grammatically correct, contextually correct. Answer is the third option. Rather's performance in, one word is missing. Rather's performance in athletics yielded rich money. Performance is correct, money is not correct. Still you can hold that one. Rather's defeat in athletics yielded rich results. No, rich results positive, but defeat negative, not correct. Rather's behavior in athletics, it is not behavior when it comes to competition, it is a performance that matters, so not correct. Rather's excellence in athletics yielded rich dividends as she got a scholarship. This seems right, hold this one. Rather's determination in athletics yielded rich demand as she got. No, not relevant. What is the answer? Rather's excellence in athletics, perfect word, yielded rich dividends. The word dividend goes with companies. They give the employees or the shareholders. In this context, positive result. Positive result. Rather's excellence in athletics yielded rich positive results as she got a scholarship. Answer is the fourth option. These are all easy, should not be a problem. The war immediately after the ceasefire proposal was bilaterally. The war receded. The war, we don't use the word recede. Recede goes with water bodies, waves, tides. Recede means to go back. The tide receded, the tsunami receded, the waves receded, not correct. After the ceasefire proposal was exchanged bilaterally. Exchanged, you should stop there, not bilaterally. This is also not correct. The war started. It talks about ending, not starting. The war started after the ceasefire proposal was prepared bilaterally. It should end, not start. The war ended immediately after the ceasefire proposal was accepted bilaterally. Seems right? Hold that one. The war extended. No, it stopped. The war scheduled. No. And not cancelled. What is the context talks about the war ended immediately after. When did the war end? The war ended immediately after the ceasefire proposal was accepted bilaterally. Both the parties accepted the ceasefire. Answer is the third option. In my opinion, you should get all the 5 correct. And the first 10 questions, you should get about 5 good enough, 7 highly appreciable, 8 outstanding, 2 not that easy under pressure. Now this passage, next 10 questions deal with the passage. Today I may take, I may spend 15 minutes more. It may take a lot of time. 66 to 75. This is a passage related to organized retail business and the products that go with FMCG. What do the letters stand for? fast-moving consumer goods, FMCG, and usually they go with the retail business. It talks about the supermarket, the hypermarket, and the kirana store in the neighborhood, and the channels, the latest trend or the changes that have been taking place. In a nutshell, this is all about, though it has been presented in the form of paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, just to intimidate you guys, to frighten you guys. Just remember, it is like any other passage. It talks about FMCG products, the channels, and the supermarket, the hypermarket, then the kirana store in the neighborhood, and also the brands, certain products, certain brands, and how the companies distribute, how they market, and what is happening right now in that particular field. Almost all the questions you can answer based on explicit information. Which of the following is being referred to as new growth category? This question number 6, I think clearly mentioned in the passage, liquid hand wash. Answer is, it has been mentioned in the passage. Go to the first paragraph, there you find this one. New growth category. Again, always remember you have to focus on the key words. New growth category, referred to as new growth category, liquid hand wash. Which of the following is being referred to as modern retail outlet? This is sheer common sense. Modern retail outlet, retail market, retail business. It is not kirana store. Kirana store is a traditional one. Online store is rejected. Door-to-door selling, no. Roadside hawkers, no. Hawker means some people, if you go to Amirpet or the busiest marketplace, the downtown of a particular city, you come across some people on the pavement or footpath, they shout and sell the products. Those are known as hawkers. Hawkers, two meanings. They move from one place to another place selling the stuff. Another meaning, they are at one place, they shout and sell the stuff, 20 rupees or 30 rupees, whatever. They are known as hawkers, roadside hawkers. Not correct. Which of the following is being referred to as modern retail outlet? Obviously, it is a supermarket. Sheer common sense, you don't have to read the passage for that. Which of the following best conveys the meaning of the phrase, watch out for? Usually this goes with a danger. Someone is in danger, someone is likely to meet with an accident, or someone is going to get hit by someone. Then we say, watch out. Watch out means what? Look, be careful. And demand justice? No. Avoid conflict? No. Be on the alert. Watch out means what? Be alert. Passively accept? No. Open for competition? No. What is the answer? Watch out, something is coming. Watch out, a vehicle is coming. Means be alert, something is coming. For that you don't have to read the passage. Which of the following is being referred to as certain amount of conflict? Again mentioned in the passage clearly. Retailers selling their own products with products of companies. Hold this one. Retailers selling similar products of different consumer companies. Not correct. Offering differential rate of margin for different products. Not correct. New products killing the old products. That never happens. Different retailers selling the same category of products. No. Here, conflict, certain amount of conflict. Retailers selling their own products with the products of companies. Retail business, you come across many brands from established companies. If you go to a supermarket, you go to a hypermarket, you come across a lot of products and they're all branded from established companies. Imagine you take a retail outlet like Big Bazaar. I hope Big Bazaar. It's a retail outlet. In the Big Bazaar, you see so many brands, but simultaneously you see a product from Big Bazaar, Big Bazaar's own product. That results in conflict of interest. What is the reason? They have to sell the products of established companies, branded products. At the same time, they want to sell their own products. Obviously, that results in conflict. So what is the answer? Retailers, here retailer, Big Bazaar, selling their own products with the products of companies, brands, established brands. This again, you don't have to read the passage, common sense. The new growth category products, I think mentioned clearly in the passage, new growth category products, first become popular. How? Reach first the neighborhood. It is the other way. From the supermarket, then to the neighborhood kirana shop. So this is not correct. Account for less than 20% of sales in organized retail. No, they take the lion's share, major share. Reach all the outlets almost at the same time. No. Initially supermarket, later the kirana shop. First become popular in modern trade outlets like supermarket, hypermarket, before reaching kirana shops. So what is the answer? Fourth option. Are aimed at the poor section of the society, not relevant. Even this you don't have to read the passage. Do remember many questions, quite often passage related, you don't have to read the passage, sheer common sense, and when you look at the options, you can get the correct answer. Which of the following is not true in the context of the passage? Not true. You got to be careful. A new brand can never quickly displace an established brand, but the passage says quite opposite. Answer is this. This is not true. A new brand can never quickly displace an established brand. No, it is not like that. A new brand can quickly displace an established brand. That's what the passage talks about. So it is not true. Answer is the third option. Which of the following categories has become very popular through sales from modern retail outlets? Frozen foods, I think mentioned in the passage, 72 answer is frozen foods. That's right. Not computers, not cell phones, not fresh fruits, soft drinks. This is again supermarkets, hypermarkets, the stuff you get over there, they reflect the Western culture. Western countries, they prefer frozen foods, very popular. They buy frozen foods regularly. Now it has come to our country. Which class section of people are more likely to shop in hypermarket? Supermarket, above that hypermarket. Obviously rich and the celebrities. Senior citizens, no. Younger generation, no. Rich consumers, obviously. Poor section ruled out. Women ruled out. The hypermarkets are for rich consumers, the rich people. Even for this, you don't have to read the passage. Which of the following advantages do modern retail outlets provide for new categories of products as compared to general trade stores? Higher profit margins, experimenting with new products, competition with similar products, better packing of the product, products at much lower price. Here, the answer is the second option. What is that? What is that? Experimenting with new products. This has been again mentioned in the passage based on explicit information. Penetrate into other channels. Which of the following is being referred to as channels? In this context, channels means supermarket, hypermarket, kirana store, all these. So products not correct, companies not correct, new products not correct, existing products not correct. Channels here, the channel means what? The supermarket, the hypermarket, and the kirana store. Answer is none. Fifth option. 76 to 80. These are again very difficult. It's already an hour is over. These I don't want to touch. And 85. It takes a lot of time. The key, I think, 82, there's a problem with the key. Check that one. Otherwise, the answer is more or less correct. We'll go to the last grammar point of view because it's already an hour plus 2 minutes. Which of the phrases 1, 2, 3, and 4 given below each statement should replace the phrase printed in bold in the sentence to make it grammatically correct? If the sentence is correct as it is given and no correction is required, mark 5 as your answer. You should get all the 5, should not be a problem. Soon after the tsunami had killed thousands of people along the coasts of southern India, Parliament passes a bill that proposed to set up an institutional mechanism to respond promptly to natural disasters. Now the context talks about past. Soon after the tsunami had killed, already over, soon after the tsunami had killed thousands of people along the coasts of southern India, Parliament passes is not correct. It cannot be in present tense, it should be in past. First, at the outset, you should make out what is the reason, the context. The context here talks about past. Context is past, you cannot use the verb in present. Now, how many options are there with past? Past is not correct. Past, hold this one and this one. Let us check. Past is not correct. Either first one or the fourth one. Passed a bill that proposed to set up. Passed a bill which proposed. Again, propose is not correct. Southern India, Parliament passed a bill that proposed to set up. Answer is the first option. As simple as that. Denial of wages forced the scientists and teachers at the agricultural universities throughout the country to go on strike. Cripple means to make something not functional. Usually it goes with people. Imagine someone has met with an accident and he cannot use, after the accident, not able to use his legs or arms. Then we say he has become a cripple. And crippling could be, a person could become a cripple either physically or mentally. Sometimes they cannot think properly. After the accident, they get the shock, they cannot think. Then we say he has become a mental cripple. But generally, accidents you come across, people get crippled, physically speaking. Cripple means something cannot function in a normal way. Crippling crucial research that could help the state of agriculture in the country. Now, this is easy, in my opinion, if the person is exposed to the language. To go on strike. The employees have decided to go on strike. This is a standard expression. And throughout the country, denial of wages forced the scientists and teachers at the agricultural universities throughout the country to go on strike. Absolutely no problem. This, when you see this expression, to go on strike, you know for sure this is the answer. Answer is what? No correction required. In an attempt to boost their profits, many edible oil producing companies have been engaging themselves in propagandas against commonly used oils and promoting exotic. Exotic means foreign. One meaning of that, foreign, unusual, something not usual, and expensive varieties of oils as more healthier options. What is the adjective here? Healthy. Healthy, healthier, healthiest. Then you cannot use one more comparative form. So which option says as most healthiest options? No. As less healthy option. As healthier option. Hold this one. As must healthiest option. Not. So what is the answer? It talks about in propagandas against commonly used oils and promoting exotic and expensive varieties of oils as healthier option. That's it. As healthier option. Most healthiest options, not correct. Not correct. So answer is the third option. Thanks to numerous government initiatives, rural masses here it talks about people. Then you cannot say which is not correct. Which was earlier unaware. We have to use a relative pronoun who. How many options with who? Who, which, reject this one, who. Now, thanks to numerous government initiatives, rural masses, which or who, not which, who, was earlier, masses plural. You need a plural verb. Who was not correct, and who were. You have to decide between the third and the fourth. Thanks to numerous government initiatives, rural masses who were earlier conversant, means know something, who were earlier unaware of the luxuries of urban ways of living, are now connected to the same lifestyle. Here it is not conversant, not knowing, it is the opposite, not aware of. Based on that, this is not correct. Answer is the fourth option. Who were earlier unaware of the luxuries of urban ways of living are now connected to the same lifestyle. Earlier they were not aware of the luxuries. Now they're connected to the same lifestyle. Answer is the fourth option. Over the last few months, while most industries are busy in restructuring operations, cutting costs and firing, the Indian pharmaceutical and healthcare industry was adding manpower and giving salary hikes. Over the last few months, while most industries, that seems right, hold that one, are busy. But here, last few months, that goes into the past. What is the verb here? I think I should have given this also yellow color. Present, that is not correct. You need the verb in the past. Are not correct. Hold this one. While most industries were busy. While many industries is not correct. Where many industries, not where, while. What is the answer based on that? Over the last few months, while most industries were busy in restructuring operations, cutting costs and firing, the Indian pharmaceutical and healthcare industry was adding manpower and given salary hikes? Answer is the second option. That's all for today from this paper. It is an hour and 10 minutes, but do remember, I haven't touched 10 questions. 5 of these go with, let us have a look at 81 to 80, 80 to 80. I think 76 to 80. What are these about? There are sets of 4 statements in questions given below, which when connected using the correct sentence structure, forms a complete single sentence. These are like, again, CAT model. You have to select one of them. All the answers are correct. Here, no issues. How to answer these? I'll just give a few tips. Understand the context. What is this about? Then look at the options. Make sure the option is grammatically correct and presents a complete information and goes with the context, and it is part of the context. That is one thing. And 81 to 85, I think these are para jumbles. Not one para jumble, I think 5 para jumbles, the correct order. Here there is one problem. 82, there is an issue, not correct, but other options are correct. Should not be a problem. That's it for today. Thank you very much.